Hi everybody, and thanks for joining me. In this video we are going to be looking at one of the classic skills of algebra. We're going to be looking at some algebraic expressions and factorising them. This one can be a little confusing. We're going to take it a step at a time and hopefully improve your understanding. Before we start to look at factorising, there really is one skill that we need to have mastered already, and that is how to expand a single bracket. If you haven't had a look at this already, please do so, and I've put a link to my video in the description below. The reason you need to do that is because what we are going to do in factorising is exactly the reverse of expanding a bracket. We're actually going to look at an expression, a series of terms, and we are going to take the common factors out of those expressions and put the brackets back in. Now on the screen here you'll see 4 stages that we're going to go through in order to do this. They may seem a little confusing at first glance. Don't worry about it, we are going to take this one step at a time. The first thing we're going to do is consider the expression and look at all the numbers in each term. We're going to establish what the highest common factor is for all the numbers in every term. Once we've sorted out the numbers, we're going to do a similar thing with the letters. We're going to take each letter alphabetically, and we are going to take out the highest power that goes into every term. After that, we will open a set of brackets and put in all the bits that we haven't taken out. Now the nice thing is, stage 4 is that we can always check our answers when we're factorising, because once we have factorised, we can then expand the bracket back out again and make sure that our answer is correct. So let's start at the beginning and go through some examples. So here we have a very simple expression, 3x plus 6. So we have 2 terms. We have the 3x and we have the 6. So, looking at the stages that we just read through, the first of them is to look at the numbers. We have to be sure that there is a number in each term. In this case, we have a 3 and we have a 6. We are then looking for the highest common factor of those 2 numbers. Again, this is another topic that you might want to have a look at if you're not sure about highest common factors. It may well be that you can already spot the highest common factor between 3 and 6, but if not, then maybe you need to list out the factors. So the factors of 3 are 1 and 3. It's a prime number, there aren't any other factors. The factors of 6, well, we have 1 and 6, and we also have 2 and 3. So the common factors of 3 and 6, well, the number 1 appears in them both and the number 3 appears in them both. We are looking for the highest common factor, therefore that would be the 3. So that is the first thing we write down as part of our answer. Now that we have finished with the numbers, we look at the letters, and remember, we have to have a letter that is common to all terms. Now in this expression we have an x here, but there is nothing in the other term, therefore there is nothing we can do. There are no common factors. So we have done the numbers, we've done the letters, we have taken out everything that we can. We now open the brackets. Now in the brackets we are going to put everything that we need to put the terms back together again. In other words, if we're looking at 3x here, we have taken out the 3, therefore we have left the x. It needs to go in here. Pluses and minuses all stay the same for this exercise. Now, the second term is a 6. We have taken out the factor of 3. So what have we left? Well, we need to work out what we would need to make 3 multiply back up to 6. And the answer is 2. It's the opposite number in the pair of factors. We now close the brackets because we've covered both terms, and we end up with 3x plus 2. And 3x plus 2 is actually our answer. That is our final answer. But Just to show that we have done it correctly, we can test this by expanding the brackets back out again. Firstly, we multiply the 3 by the x, which gives us the answer 3x. Everything is positive, so it stays as a positive. We then multiply the 3 by the 2. 3 times 2 is 6. We are back where we started, therefore our answer is correct. Let's have a look at a similar example, as this is complicated at first sight. Here we have 8x plus 12. Again, we're going to look at the numbers first, and we're going to look for the highest common factor. And again, you can write out the factors of 8 and 12 if you're not sure. In fact, the highest common factor of 8 and 12 is the number 4. It divides into both 8 and into 12. So the first thing we write down is the 4. Now again, looking at the letters, there is nothing in common between these two terms. That has an x on the left hand side, the second term doesn't have. Therefore there are no common letters. We therefore open the brackets, and again we have to decide now, what do I need to put in the bracket here that would multiply back up to 8x? Well, the number is 8. We've taken a factor of 4 out. Therefore, we have left in 2, because 2 times 4 would make 8. The x we haven't taken out at all. Therefore, it stays there. Put in the plus. We now have the 12. We've taken out a factor 4. What do I need to do to the 4 to get it back to 12? I have to multiply it by 3. 4 3s are 12. So again, we have now factorized the expression. Let's check our answer by multiplying out the brackets. Well, 4 times 2x is 8x, and 4 times 3 is 12. Back where we started, all is good, so this must be the correct answer. Now let's take it a step further. We have a new expression, 2a squared plus 8a. Again, numbers first. We have a 2 and an 8. The highest common factor of 2 and 8 is 2. That's the numbers sorted for the moment. We now move on to the letters. Now, in this case, we have a's in both terms. In the first term, it is an a squared, and in the second term, it is just an a. The rules say we need to take out the highest power of a that is common to all of the terms. The way we actually do this is we take out whichever of them has the lowest power. In other words, we have an a squared and we have an a. What we can take out here is a factor of a. A belongs to both terms. However, once we now put our brackets in, because there are no other letters to consider, we have to say, okay, let's have a look at the first term. 2a squared, we've taken the 2 out, so there's nothing to put in there. Of the a squared, we have taken 1a, a to the power 1, if you like, out of there. Therefore, how would I get that to multiply back up to a squared? Well, I would need another a. Put the plus in. Look at the number here, 8. We've taken out the factor of 2. How do I multiply 2 to get back up to 8? I multiply it by 4. It has an a, just simply a to the power 1. I've already taken out an a, therefore there's nothing left. So I can close my brackets. Let's check my answer. Multiply the brackets back out again. 2a times a is 2a squared. Put the plus in. 2a times 4 is 8a. We're back where we started. We have the correct answer. Now this example looks very similar but acts slightly differently. You have to be a little bit more careful, simply because we're going to do the same again. So we're going to find out the highest common factor of 6 and 3. We've already had a look at that one. We know that it's 3. There are no x's in common, so we cannot take any x's out. Therefore our brackets are going to come next. Now, First term is 6x, the number is 6. We took out a factor of 3. How do I multiply that back up to 6? I put the 2 in, and x, we haven't taken any x's out, so that has to stay in there. Plus, now the second term is 3. We have actually taken out 3. We've taken the whole thing and put it outside the bracket. Now you might think that because we've taken the whole thing out, we put a 0 in here. In fact, you have to be careful. How would I multiply the 3 to finish with a 3? And the answer is I would have to multiply it by 1. Therefore, a 1 has to go in there, because now, as I am checking my answer, 3 times 2x is 6x, plus 3 times 1 is 3. Had that been a 0, you would have ended up with 3 times nothing, which would be nothing, which is not where we started. So if you find you have taken the whole term out, then in its space you have to have the number 1. Finally, let's look at a more complicated one. This time we have 3 terms: 4x squared y, 2xy, and 10x squared y squared. Therefore, when we are factorising, we have to make sure that everything that we take out of the brackets has to be common to all 3 terms. So we start with the numbers. Well, there is certainly a number in each term, a 4, a 2, and a 10. Therefore, we need to look for the highest common factor of 4, 2, and 10. Again, you can write them out to one side if you need to. In fact, the highest common factor is the 2. We now look at the letters, and the first of the letters is an X. First of all, you have to establish, is there an X of some form or another in every term? Here the answer, yes, there's an X squared, there's an X, and there's an X squared. Which power of X can we take out? We look for the one with the lowest power, which is the X. Therefore, we can take X out of every term. We move on to the Y's. We have a Y, and a Y squared. So Y is common to all 3 terms. The lowest power that exists here is the Y. So we can take a Y out of each term. We're now finished with each number and letter. We open the brackets. Now we take care. First, the number. The number in the first term is a 4. We've taken out a factor of 2. What do I need to get from 2 back up to 4? I need to multiply it by 2. Then look at the X. It's an X squared. I've taken out an X. How do I multiply X to get back to X squared? I need another X. X times X is X squared. We have a Y. We have taken out a Y. Therefore, it's all been taken out. There is nothing left inside for this term. So we move on to the next term. Now, this term is 2xy. What have we taken outside? 2xy. We've taken the whole term. Therefore, if we've taken everything, we have to leave in a 1. Moving on to the third term, the number is a 10. We've taken out the factor of 2. How do I go from 2 back to 10? Well, I multiply it by a 5. We have an X squared. We've taken out an X. I therefore need to make it back into an X squared. I need another X. We had a Y squared. We've taken out a Y. How do I get back to Y squared? I multiply it by another Y. And that is the end of the third term. Now, with a complicated example like this, it really is important that we check our answer. So let's do this. We have to multiply what is outside by each of the terms inside. Therefore, we are multiplying 2xy times the 2x. 2 times 2 is 4. X times x is x squared. And the y, nothing to multiply with, it's just y. Then we put in the plus. We've now got 2xy times 1. Therefore the answer is 2xy. Third term, we have 2 times 5 is 10. We have x times x is x squared. And we have y times y, which is y squared. Check that with where we started. It is the same, therefore, again, we've got the correct answer. To summarise then, look at the expression, check each term and find the common factors. Don't forget, a common factor has to be present in each of the terms. Write the common factors down and then open brackets. Inside the brackets, you need to put in whatever is needed for you to be able to multiply the bracket back out again to get to where you started. So, as always with algebra, take it one step at a time, the numbers, the letters. Make sure that what you are taking out is a factor that's common to all the terms. I hope you found that useful. If you have, would you please subscribe to my channel? Lots of other videos. And if you also hit the notifications button, you'll hear of any new ones that I bring out. Hopefully I will see you again. Thank you.